Imagine attending a party only to be shot dead because you knocked on the wrong door. This is the chilling reality of Yoshi Hattori's tragic end. A bright young Japanese exchange student, Yoshi was brimming with life and excitement for the future. He had a passion for American culture and was eager to immerse himself in every aspect of it. Little did he know, this curiosity would lead to an unthinkable tragedy. It was the day of October 17, 1992. The air was crisp with the scent of autumn leaves, and the anticipation of Halloween was in the air. Yoshi, filled with excitement, was preparing to attend a Halloween party with his friend, Webb Haymaker. Dressed as John Travolta's character from Saturday Night Fever, Yoshi was ready to experience this quintessential American tradition. However, a fatal error was brewing in the midst of this festive atmosphere. The party was to be held in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a place unfamiliar to Yoshi. In his enthusiasm and unfamiliarity with the area, Yoshi and Webb mistakenly arrived at the wrong house. They knocked on the door, expecting a warm welcome, but instead they were met with a shocking response. The homeowner, Rodney Pears, a local butcher, panicked at the sight of the unfamiliar faces. He did not see a couple of partygoers, he saw intruders. In a state of fear and confusion, he made a split-second decision that would forever alter the course of many lives. He pulled the trigger of his .44 Magnum revolver, shooting Yoshi in the chest. In a matter of seconds, the festive evening turned into a horrifying ordeal. Yoshi, a young man full of life and dreams, was left lying on the porch, gasping for breath. His friend Webb could only watch in shock and disbelief as his friend's life was brutally cut short. In this tale of tragic miscommunication, Yoshi Hattori lost his life. But what led to this fatal error? As we delve deeper into this chilling narrative, we'll attempt to unravel the circumstances and decisions that led to this unthinkable tragedy. From the land of the rising sun to the heart of Louisiana, Yoshi Hattori embarked on an adventure, unaware of the tragic end that awaited him. Yoshi Hattori was a young, vibrant soul from Japan, a land steeped in tradition and culture. As a 17-year-old exchange student in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he was captivated by the allure of the American lifestyle, its freedom, and the opportunity to experience something new every day. Yoshi was an explorer in his own right, eager to learn, to understand, and to blend into this new world that was so different from his own. His fascination with America also extended to its quirky traditions, one of which was Halloween, a festival he had eagerly been looking forward to. Donning a white tuxedo inspired by his favorite movie character, he set off to a Halloween party with his host brother, Webb Haymaker. Their spirits were high, their excitement palpable, but fate had other plans. In a twist of fate, Yoshi and Webb ended up at the wrong address, a house that looked eerily similar to the one they were supposed to be at. It was here that Yoshi came face to face with Rodney Pears, a man who would forever change the course of his life. Knocking on the door, Yoshi was met with confusion and fear. In his excitement and limited English, he may have failed to communicate his intentions clearly. And in that moment of misunderstanding, Rodney Pears, in a state of panic, shot Yoshi, thinking him to be an intruder. Yoshi's journey, which began with an innocent desire to experience and learn, ended in a tragic twist of fate. His dreams, his aspirations, his youthful enthusiasm, all snuffed out in a moment that highlighted the stark cultural differences and misconceptions that can lead to devastating consequences. A simple mistake turned into a fatal encounter, abruptly ending Yoshi's journey. Rodney Pears, a man living an ordinary life until one night his world collided with Yoshi's with a deafening bang. Rodney Pears, a Baton Rouge native, was a husband, a father, and an unassuming meat market worker. His life was nothing out of the ordinary until the fateful night of October 17, 1992. On that night, he found himself staring down the barrel of his .44 Magnum revolver at a stranger in his carport. Pears had been startled by his wife's scream, the panic in her voice echoing through the house. A figure later identified as Yoshi Hattori was approaching their home, and his wife's fear became his own. In the dark of the night, Pears could only make out a silhouette, a stranger moving towards him. In Pears' mind, the stranger posed an imminent threat. The next moments were a blur, the trigger was pulled, and Yoshi Hattori fell to the ground. In the courtroom, Pears' defense painted a picture of a man who had acted out of fear for his life and the safety of his family. They argued that Pears' actions were justified under Louisiana's shoot the burglar law, a piece of legislation that allowed homeowners to use deadly force when they believed they were in immediate danger from an intruder. The defense claimed that Pears, faced with a perceived threat, had reacted within the parameters of the law. However, critics argued that Pears's fear was unfounded, that he had overreacted to a harmless visitor. They questioned whether his decision to shoot was a knee-jerk reaction fueled by paranoia rather than a calculated act of self-defense. As we delve deeper into this case, we are left with a pressing question. Was it a justified act of self-defense, or a reaction driven by unnecessary fear? As we continue, we'll explore the verdict of the law and its implications in the following scene. In the face of tragedy, the scales of justice can often tip in unexpected ways. As the investigation into Yoshi Hattori's untimely demise unfolded, law enforcement officials were met with a complex narrative that would test the boundaries of justice. The police, tasked with the unenviable job of piecing together a puzzle of fear, misunderstanding, and ultimately loss, found themselves navigating a labyrinth of legal intricacies. The trial that ensued was every bit as contentious as the circumstances surrounding the case. The shooter, claiming self-defense, stood firm in his stance, asserting that he had been acting in response to perceived danger. The defense painted a picture of a man, startled in his own home, reacting instinctively to what he believed was a threat. Conversely, the prosecution argued that the shooter's response was disproportionate and excessive, that the fatal shot fired was not a justifiable act of self-defense, but a tragic overreaction. They presented Yoshi Hattori, an exchange student merely seeking directions, as the innocent victim of a tragic misunderstanding. However, the jury's verdict sent shockwaves around the globe. Despite the prosecution's arguments, the shooter was acquitted, the jury believing his claim of self-defense. The decision was met with widespread disbelief and outrage. This case, in its controversy and tragedy, served to highlight the stark differences in the law's interpretation of self-defense between countries. It ignited a debate on the nature of fear, the right to protect oneself, and the value of a human life. The legal system's verdict sparked a debate that transcended borders. In the court of public opinion, the verdict was seen as a gross miscarriage of justice. It sparked a tidal wave of protest, not just locally, but internationally. From Japan to the United States, people questioned the interpretation of the law that allowed a young man's life to be cut short so tragically. Simultaneously, the event illuminated the stark cultural differences between Japan and the United States, particularly regarding the perception of threat and the use of firearms for self-defense. It underscored the devastating consequences of a cultural misunderstanding spiraling out of control. Yoshi's death became a symbol of the tragic results of miscommunication and the lack of understanding between cultures. The story of Yoshi Hattori serves as a stark reminder of the tragic consequences of fear and misunderstanding. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for new videos uploaded weekly.